Hey, well, welcome to wake up on Monday and have like such a bounce. It was epic. So we're here and we are live on Getting Started in Crypto, YouTube, X, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Welcome.
Yep. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. And yeah, what a bounce to wake up to. The whole market has suddenly turned on its head. It's back up over $3 trillion in the market. Yeah, it feels different today.
Yeah, it's got bull run feels coming back, but maybe we've still got one more small little correction.
Would you like to explain that?
Let's jump into that. Hang on, I'll turn into Nerdy Lisa. And we'll jump into the Bitcoiners chart. Now I'm going to go up to a high time frame because it's a really important region. But have a look, check out that candle. That is the most epic doji, dragonfly doji ever. We normally get a pullback at about 50%, so it'll probably come back down to about 87. But that's not an issue. I need to go even higher than this to show you what I'm looking for. Okay. So this pattern here, spinning top. So this is either we continue sideways a little bit more. Normally there's 2 or 3 candles in that section. Or we have just like a little bit of a pause and then we continue up. So if I drop this back, I think it might have been on the monthly. We can see that we've got a strong resistance here and we haven't broken that yet. That's at 93,500 and sort of 500-ish region that I was talking to somebody in at Jennifer in at Getting Started in Crypto yesterday. She said, what do we need to be bullish? That's it. We're still underneath it. So we're not bullish yet. Just saying.
Okay.
The pattern
maybe dampens the spirit of a lot of people, but who are perma bulls in this market. But, we've got to look at what the chart says as much as what the fundamental analysis says, because that is pretty much the reason for this move. It's a simple few tweets or posts, I should say, Donald Trump that has caused this. So the power of fundamental analysis.
There's some big things happening. So we've got, secret accumulation in China and, the strategic Bitcoin reserve happening in the US, a lot of other big nations doing the same. So, this is a buy the dip sort of situation. Like when we've been back at 2017. So if we, drop these charts back and have a look and go all the way back down here, imagine buying here at 8,000, or even when we got the bottom at like 3,200, way back in, when was that? Feb 20. So imagine getting in at that point, and now we're sitting all the way up at 91,000. So, that's where hodlers are winning in those sections. But yeah, will this go to 1 million? Will it go sideways forever? Will we get 250K? Is this the bull run? So, there's so many questions right now because we haven't broken that bullish pivot yet. So we're not 100% bullish. So that's the thing for me. And this is a very, very pivotal point on this chart. So when we go, I'm going to bring this up to a daily. It's got all my Elliott waves on because it was driving me absolutely insane with the pattern. So it's a really, really complex pattern because we had a really boring correction. Now we've got 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th touch to this channel, or to this wedge coming down, and we almost had a nice touch to the bottom there. Now, if this doesn't break through at this point, it needs to hold 86,400-ish, depending on whichever exchange. It's still looking fairly bullish at the moment, but a lot of alts really pulling back again. So everyone's like, oh, I got some profit. I'm going to stick that in my pocket and wait for the next pullback. So that's kind of what's happening at the moment. We're waiting for the 7th, which is the, symposium, and where they're going to be discussing sort of, more crypto and what's going to happen with it. And, whether that is good or bad, probably good for the market. We'll see some more tether printed because there'll be more liquidity coming in. Somebody said need to at least hold the 12 monthly. Let's have a look at the 12 monthly then. So many logos. It's a spinning top. It's not ugly. 12 monthly still has 9 months to go on that. So yeah, it's not ugly. So that's just a internal wave correction according to this. It's not massively huge. So I would say continuation here, like we saw in this candle. If we're looking at this being 1, 2, and we're in wave 1, this is 2, and then we're going into wave 3, continuing up. So yeah, I think that's actually quite good. You can see the declining volume. Like Bitcoin has such a massive dominance. We're at 61.1%. And looking at the 12-month, way back when everything was, going into Bitcoin, look at the volume on that. Look at the volume now, hardly anything. So it's just like, and how has it got 61% of the market? It's just insane. It's just due to price of Bitcoin. So yeah, it's really crazy how that volume's declined. So we've come down to the bottom, and that usually means when we get to that lower bottom region on volume, it is where we start to turn around. So that is looking possible as well. When we go back to the Bitcoin dominance, we are just trending sideways, very boring. But yeah, Bitcoin is looking, as long as we can break that resistance, and here we want to, this is the alternate chart where we go down for a Z wave, goes to about 73. So every time I say there's an alternate chart, it heads there. So sorry, guys. It's just how it happens to be. So if, something happens during the week, we have a pullback. Yeah, so we're mid, so low time frames where I'd say this is more bullish than bearish, but we've still got that pullback happening potentially, and that support 86,400. So keep an eye on that. We don't want that to break. We've got some really nice dragonfly dojis that have printed on these charts, so that usually means this is a good reversal. So taking those waves off, we'd be looking at this in 5 waves, and that would more look like going up to about 105 to probably 111, and that breaks the high there. So, and that sets us off for the next run. So ideally, that's what we want. And we've got a hard resistance at about 117, 118, depending on what chart you look at. And that's going to, once we hit that point, we'll probably go sideways for a bit, unless there's a huge volume injection. Then it'll just go straight through. So Bitcoin is looking pretty good. Just watch that 86,400 strategic orders around that region if you miss this wave up. The next one.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, you're going straight onto what I was going to talk about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What do you need? Bitcoin chart?
No. I was just going to talk about how, Trump also mentioned alongside Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA, Sol, and XRP. So I'm sure a lot of viewers will be looking to get your thoughts on some of those.
Yeah, ADA looked incredible today. So for anyone that, is hodling and looking at ADA, it had such an epic bounce. This is ADA. And yeah, came in this morning and I went, whoa, 100%. Got to love that. You've got to love when you get 100% chart. Now, if we have a look at RSI, so a little bit of educational stuff. This is a 2-hour RSI and we got to about 92. Once we get over 90, it's imminent. We're pulling back. Sometimes they can push through a little bit higher, but you want to start taking profits at that point because that's kind of where it's like really, really on fire and it's just literally going to pull back. So if we have a look and we go even lower time frames, it's going to be even higher. So we go 15-minute. You can see how this is just like we had 2 waves up, but this first hit to the top here is 97 on the 15-minute chart. As soon as you see a 97, it's like take a profit and run because you can see here where we're just starting to get the sideways correction on that. And likely to come back down to the 100 MA, which is about 0.9, 200 MA is 77. If we go up through the chart, we'll see that we get a bit of confluence on those regions. So down here, we're probably heading a bit down further. So around that sort of 81 mark, I would say, for ADA, unless it just decides to hold higher because it's being all bullish and stuff, but I doubt it. I think we've got a pullback across the board and then we head up. I don't think it's just going to be up only for the rest of this week unless Donald Trump comes out on a daily basis and goes crypto this, crypto that, crypto, then obviously this is the time, and I've been saying this while we were going sideways and having dips, that you want to be DCAing. So we're still in that section, still very much in the DCA region. So keep buying those dips. If you've got a bit of money coming through, buy the dips. And that way you'll have a really, really strong entry point for all of these alts and all of these charts. So yeah, ADA 100%, that's epic. ETH, another strong bounce. As I was saying last week, this point on the chart was a really pivotal point. 2032, we didn't quite get there. We did get an ending diagonal. So if we drop that down, I'll drop it down to an hour so we can have a look at just how ugly these charts are. You can see just the momentum like this wedge down here. So A, B, C, D, E. And just really ugly. So always going to break out. Now, this chart here needs to hold 2,280-ish. And it's going to be a little bit different on every exchange, but that's where it wants to hold. And if it can hold there, it's going to be bullish. It's got a pivot in this region of 2,565. Needs to break above that region to remain bullish. So, and then these 2 upper pivots, which are really pivotal, obviously, to our direction, 3,065 and 3,242. I feel like playing bingo, calling out the numbers. So ETH is looking great. Total market cap dipped right down. Now, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just going to take off some of this stuff. If the total comes down and we get a bit of an inverse head and shoulders, So maybe one more wave heading up here and we get a little bit of a wobble in there and then up we go. So its potential, don't look at how long that is because everyone's like, oh, what's the time on that? It's like, I don't do time, but it looks as if we have a little bit of momentum up, down, up, down, up, down. And then before we take off, doesn't look like it's just going up only for now. Who knows? We could just go up only straight away. But yeah, that's what that pattern's looking like to me. And that looks like that's the inverse, very ugly inverse head and shoulders forming there. So yeah. Josh has disappeared.
No, I am here. It's excellent. Okay, so I think that answers most questions. I was just having a look in the other places to check if there's any other requests, but I think you have all of them lined up, ready to go. So did you want to, should we take a quick 30-second break so you can prep the alts and then we'll dive into those?
Cool.
Okay, cool. Okie dokie, and we're back.
Cool. Now we've got some exciting stuff happening with the app too. So if you're not a member, it might be wise to just download it off the Apple Store and off the Android Store and just wait because there's some stuff coming. And it's a bit exciting. So yeah, getting started in crypto.com app and the stores. And don't forget, trading journal. Need to have one of these, need to get your trades in order and mindset right, and that will help you do it. It's structured to do all of that and you know, follow you throughout the whole entire year. So you've got a year of trading in this journal, so you can refer back and go, look how far I've come and look how much I've learned. And that's always a good stepping stone to understand where you are in the trading process. So yeah, grab that on Amazon. Let's go into the alts now. We've got
whoa. You're forgetting one more other thing that you launched last week that's probably worth a mention.
What did I launch last week? Oh, podcast. So many things happening. Yeah, so podcast, Lisa N. Edwards. It's on every podcast platform, I think. So, but you know, main ones, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Check them out.
It's called Uncharted. So type in Uncharted and that's what
it comes up. I put in Lisa N. Edwards Uncharted because I did just the Uncharted thing, and there's probably about 10 of them, but they're not talking about, they're more talking about like maps and exploring. Okay. Whereas I'm not talking about that. So
no. Okay, cool. All right, I think that's all the promo bits done and dusted, so we can jump into some alts.
And we can. All right. As we go in, this is SUI, and we are just pulling back on this at the moment. So ideally, we want to hold about 2.9 and just fill out this region here. Now, if this is a B wave and we've still got one more wave down, we're coming probably just below that low. Down here a little bit, maybe at about 2.2. So this will depend on what Bitcoin does and how far Bitcoin pulls back at the moment. So if we get a bit of a bounce fairly soon, a lot of these alts are going to bounce and form a triangle. So, and that'll fill out this region where we've got a little bit of resistance here. I'd love to see SUI get up to about 4.1 on this next wave coming up. So this was a signal in it getting started in crypto, almost reached target 2, just short, just shy. So, but we had just signals galore, just all hitting targets last night. It was epic, waking up and I had all these email alerts of all the targets. So definitely pays to belong because everyone was super bearish. And that's normally when there's so much fear in the market, you want to be buying. You literally want to be buying. When people are telling you, you know, it's going down forever, that's when you buy. So next chart we've got is ENA. We've got an expanding wedge happening on ENA, which is a really strong sign. If it fills out, the wedge is coming back down to about 3.9. But if not, it just needs to hold 3.8 is the low there that we want to be holding. Probably a little bit higher would be ideal. At just below the 100 MA there on the 2 hour is about 4. So you can see also how high this got once we sort of start, you know, so it doesn't sort of go crazy like ADA did, but we can see that we've got that pullback here where it hit 77 on the RSI. So the RSI is a really good tool indicator to understand and to use with your trades, especially when you want to entry and exit. And, you know, sometimes it can sort of move a bit sideways and it goes down a little bit lower, but if you're in a spot, it doesn't matter so much. You know, like when you're on the daily and it's getting really super low, that you're near the bottom. We can see it sort of sweeps along the bottom here at the sort of 24, 25. So that's a really good sign that it's, you know, close to the bottom, if not one wave down, but we're almost there, almost there. What was that one? That one was ENA. Say SEI. Now this one, I'm not 100% sure it's bullish yet. It's just, it could be one of two patterns, but potentially it's still kind of a bit ugly looking to me. This looks a bit bear flaggy. So potentially it might break down one more time. The only thing that says that maybe it's not going to is we've got a cross forming on the MAs. So whether this is, you know, these are all truncated waves. And that's the other thing that happens in bull markets. We get truncated waves, which makes the wave patterns more difficult to sort of determine and understand. So when we do the measurements, we go, okay, it could be one of two things, depending on where these waves, you know, fall down to. So if we're holding this support, which is about 24, then we've probably got what is known as a leading diagonal, because it has got a similar count, which means we'll get one more wave up. And that would look something like this, where we've got that fanned out sort of trombone pattern. So potentially that's something for say, and, you know, and then it should break through. We've got a strong resistance here. We can see that it does like that pattern. It is sort of pulling that pattern in this region too. So that's, and then it broke down. Potential to do that again. And then hopefully rule of alternation in Elliott wave means if this one here is breaking down, this one here will likely break up. And that's how alternation works. So that's something to watch on, say, if you're going, okay, I'm going to short that now, I wouldn't be shorting it because it's got an alternation rule there. And yeah, so if it does hold that sort of 23, 24 mark, then it's going to head up and hit that next resistance, which is 49. So that's quite a nice move. The other one, Zen, one of my faves, it's got a similar pattern. The only thing that's so supporting these charts is we're starting to get the MAs crossing. And that's a strong bullish signal. We just need to get the waves over the top, and then we're good to go. Now, at the moment, they're kind of fighting and struggling with them. So that just means we've got a little bit more to go. We don't have a clear pathway forward as yet. So a lot of the indicators are still showing bearish divergence and a bit of congestion on the charts. So until we get sort of a clear pathway, sort of with whatever Donald Trump says on the 7th, and, you know, quite a few more tether prints, that liquidity injection, news going out. So when we start getting regular news going out, that's when you go, okay, we're going to get the mums and dads buying. We're going to get people just normies buying and coming into the market. And that's what we want to see. So, yeah. So Zen, we're still sort of sitting on the bench for this one as well. It's just a bit ugly. And yeah, not my favorite chart right now. You can see we might just fill out that bit, moving down like an ABC, coming down and then continue up. And ideally, that's what we'd like to see, just sort of here, maybe up like that. Bit of sideways and then heading up. And that's normally how the squiggles work. People tend to understand the squiggles more so than the Elliott wave. I put the Elliott wave and everyone's like, oh, what do you mean? Put a squiggle on. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay. Same thing. So H-bar had a really, this was one we looked at last week and told you it had this strong support and needed to hold that. Came down and tested it a few times. We also have the MAs about to cross here on the 4 hour. If we dip down to the 1 hour, I'd say they've already crossed. Yep, here we go. So likely we've got a support here of the 100 and that's also a pivot. So we want to hold above that 0.229 region on H-bar. Last but not least, we have Litecoin, which normally goes first, but didn't do much at all. There we go. Still in pattern though. Still squiggles in line. But yeah, that's about it.
Excellent. Okay, I think everyone seems to be happy with that. Just under about 500 people watching in today. So if you are not in getting started in crypto.com, jump over there now and subscribe. Yeah,
definitely, because we had heaps of signals hitting target this morning. It was epic. So yeah, get on there. And not to mention, when any of these events happen, we have daily updates for Bitcoin, but when we were pulling back, we had 3 updates on that day. Also ETH and all the major alts. So it's something, and you can request charts if you need to in there to know where they're kind of sitting at.
Yeah, plenty of features. Also the bots as well, the Lisabot, the TTMBot, who will do the heavy lifting for you, and you just have to oversee and manage it. So yeah, some great features there. And lots of education, lots and lots of education. Yeah, full of education too. Was there anything else? I think, will it be next Monday when was it the 6th or the 7th? I can't remember.
The 7th.
Okay. Is that 7th?
So that's Friday. So yeah, it'll be my Saturday.
Correct. So the next weekly wrap up will have the update from that, unless you are in getting started in crypto, in which case I'm sure we will be covering as much of it as we can there, or at least in the live chat. So definitely it should be a positive week for crypto.
Yeah, I think a bit of a pullback first, and then we should start that sweeping momentum happening over the next week. Watch for those tether prints, because that's going to tell us what's happening.
Excellent. Okay, thank you everyone for joining us. Have a great week ahead, and we shall talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.